all you wonderful people. I'm Lisa with Living Life with Lisa, and I'm sitting here because my youngest is in Taekwondo, so he's right there in that building, and I decided to stay out here and talk to you guys. So if you're new to this channel, what we talk about basically is living with chronic illness, and I'm going to try to go down my list, and I know I'll leave something out, but it keeps getting longer and longer. But first and foremost, it's about trying to live life to the fullest, and there are days where it just doesn't seem worth it. But one of those, my diagnoses are early onset dementia. I have a disease in my spine that I forget what it's called. Spinal something. There's an S, but what it is, it's not like scoliosis. It's different, and the vertebrae move like this and pinch the spinal cord. And so I have rods in my neck and rods in my lower back. They want to put some more in my neck, upper and lower, and nobody's ever looked at the middle of my back, so I don't even know if that's a mess or not. I have Graves' disease, which is a thyroid disorder, and they're in the middle of trying to get that all straightened out because it was real high, and then now it's real low, and we're trying to get it straightened out, and it just takes a long time to get it straightened out. And so I just hated it. I liked it when it was overactive, simply because I was losing weight like crazy, and there was nothing to it. I liked it, but the doctor didn't. So anyway, so I have that, and I also have I'm in stage 3 of kidney disease, and it just kind of, to me, it just happened all of a sudden. And when I made that comment to the doctor, he said no, it didn't. He said your numbers have been going down for a while, but just very slightly. Well, why he hasn't told me that until now, I don't know. But he asked me about the pop, and I said that I do drink pop, but it's as a treat, because mostly I drink ice water. But I drink the Mexican Coke maybe once a week as a treat, and he said that's fine, that's not going to hurt anything. He thought at first maybe that once the thyroid straightened up, it would straighten up. So we're going to keep that hope. I know that I went from 41 to 46, which is good, because you want to go over 60 for anybody that understands those numbers. So at least that was in the right direction. And so and I'm raising, I'm still talking to the new people, or the old people that are catching up, because I just announced the kidney disease. They didn't know about that before, unless they're on Living Life with Lisa page, then you did. But I've just been kind of down this week. I haven't felt like getting on camera. I haven't felt like talking. I've been kind of... And I've thought today that probably what I need to do is ask the doctor to up my antidepressant, because or even maybe my anxiety meds, I don't know, because I just feel like I'm dragging, and that it doesn't have anything to do with the illness, if you know what I mean. It feels like I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just flat out overwhelmed. I had I'm dealing with this. I have not told my dad about the kidney disease, because Lord knows he doesn't need more on his plate, and he worries more about me than he worries about himself. So I don't want to tell him till I get to a specialist and we know exactly what's going on. Anyway, the so I think I need to up that, and I forget what it was the other day that I thought it was the anxiety that was getting to me, but I think it's mostly depression. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit both. Who knows? But anyway, you know, in the last video, I touched on it about, getting engrossed in things and things being part of, my world that aren't really part of my world. Taking things to heart, upset when people on YouTube are upset or they're warning about something, and I just, I get engrossed in that, which is really an odd thing, but I don't think it's an odd thing for dementia. Last week, I think I was sick last week, to tell you the truth, because I had the chills. I couldn't get warm, and my body was aching all over the place. I actually felt so bad that Nicole was supposed to come over on Thursday, and I texted her and I told her not to come because I felt so crappy. I couldn't have gotten out of bed or anything. So, you know, it's bad when I turned down Nicole to come over. So I think I was sick, and my dad happened to FaceTime me, and I had on my hooded blanket, which I wear a lot anyway. But he said, "Well, you look kind of peaked." So I've never have figured out what peaked means, but people say it a lot. Anytime I've been sick, they say, "Oh, you look peaked." What does looking peaked mean? I've never used it because I don't know what it means, unless it's that look that you get when, like, I can tell when my kids are sick because they got that funny look on their face. And if that's what peaked is, then I know what it is. It's just that look that they get when you get sick. But otherwise, I don't know what peaked means. So anyway, it's just one of those terms around here everybody uses that I never did quite figure out what they meant. Because, like, with Jessie, I can tell you he's sick before he even knows it. It shows all over his face. So anyway, the boys, Aaden's been doing real good. Last 24 hours been a little rough with two of them, the other two, but I think we got them straightened out. I hope. The middle one's going to get one more threat tonight before going to bed, because he likes to be the class clown, and the thing is he is funny. I mean, there's nothing about it. And there used to be a commercial on TV, The More You Know, those things, if you remember that. And I remember there was a comedian on there that said, if you're going to be a smart aleck, at least be smart. Well, the thing is, the teacher that called me today, that's kind of fed up with his humor, said, well, he said, the thing is, he's pulling an A in my class, but everything's a joke. He's playing class clown. So, and that immediately popped in my head. I thought, well, at least he's smart. He's going to do smart aleck. But I told him that wasn't good, so I turned off his phone. And so what I'm going to tell him tonight before I go to bed is I'm going to tell him that I'm going to email his teachers, and the next time there's a problem with any of them, I'm going to go to school with him. And I'm going to go spend the day with him from class to class so I can see his behavior. And he will not like that at all, because he didn't get as embarrassed as Aaden does right now, but he still gets embarrassed. And so I know sitting by him all days in school will not be fun for the boy. So, and I don't mind doing it. I know most of those teachers I'd like to visit with. So got 2 calls today from the school. 2 calls, and I had to go up there. And so that's just, and neither one of them, they both were very weird calls in that the first one was recording because I was, laying down and didn't have the sound on my phone, and so I missed it. And she called, and she couldn't really explain what he had done. She was apparently had to leave the room, and so another teacher came in and something happened and something about his hands being down and things in his hands, and it made no sense at all. And she was admitting it wasn't making any sense. And so she had sent him down to the assistant principal, and the assistant principal gave him a lunchtime detention. Well, the teacher that was watching her class gave him a lunchtime detention. And so I think he has lunchtime. This is Monday. He has Tuesday and Wednesday. He had a lunch detention today, and the guy that gave him the lunch detention is the one that was in there subbing for class, and he didn't like the way that Randi was chewing. And so Randi was telling me about it. Well, Randi admitted that he was being passive aggressive and he was chewing too loud on purpose. And so he got another lunch detention because of it. And I said, I don't blame him. You deserve it. And he said, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And he said, not tomorrow, because he's got one for the principal tomorrow. It's not funny, but you gotta laugh or cry at this point. And so the teacher said, I better see you tomorrow. And he said, I can't. I got a lunch detention for the principal tomorrow. I'll come see you on Wednesday. He didn't say anything. So he may have a whole week of lunch detentions, but I don't care. He needs them. He needs them. And like I told the one that called me this afternoon, he was kind of flustered, and turned out he called parents all day long. And so we think he might have just been having one of his days where, it just was not good for him. But I have no misconceptions about my children. They are not perfect in any way, shape, or form. I know that they act up. I know that one's a jokester and does not know where the line is at. And so I get it. I have been on both sides. I get the frustration, and I get why it's so hard to put it into words, because it's just like somebody poking at you all the time, poke till you blow up, and you can't say, well, it's because they poked me, but it is that they've irritated you for so long that you finally just explode, and it's over with. And I think that's where we're at. And the funny thing is I'm getting comments like, he's changed since he's been back. It's been worse since he's been back. And the worst being the worst being that he's trying to be class clown. He's trying to be funny. And everything is funny to him. Well, the beginning of the year, he started a mood stabilizer. And I honestly believe that what we're seeing now is the real Randi. And the difference they're seeing is he's not moping and sad and moody, but he sees, his world is brighter now, and he's happier now. And so he's just sharing his happiness with everybody, which is way too much. God love him, because he is funny. I mean, I'll give him that. He is funny. But there is a time and a place, and the middle of class is not the place, nor the time. So anyway, I explained that to the last teacher that called, because he and I go back before either one of us, when we both started teaching. I remember going over to his house with friends and his wife, and we all played spoons. And boy, they were cutthroat. You came out of there with big gashes out of your hands and played spoons with them. But that's way back, back 30 years probably. So I explained everything to him, and he understood they'd had similar issues with one of their children. And so he says he gets it, and he said he'll work it from his end, and I'll try to work it from mine, and we'll see what we can do. But he didn't take his medicine this morning, which I think had a lot to do with things not going well today. And he didn't take his ADHD medicine, and this kid's a poster boy. I know a lot of people don't think that kids need it, but he can't focus. He cannot listen to directions. He cannot do more than one step at a time when he takes it. He is bouncing off the walls. He is in people's faces. He's in people's stuff. He's trying to build things. He's just a mess when he doesn't take it. And so he didn't take it. And so I didn't get it to him until about 1. So the teacher that called me, I told him he hadn't had his medicine, and I just took it up to school and probably didn't have time to kick in by the time class started. And so he said, oh, well, that would explain a lot for today. And so anyway, I'm still gonna threaten him. I turned his data off. And so the only thing he can do is use the phone to call if he needs something. I'll let him call because I gave 2 of them in case of emergency, or they had to get a hold of me for some reason. And so that's all he can do on his phone. He can't play any of his games. He can't look at YouTube. He can't do none of that stuff. So that's good. And I told him I wasn't going to turn it on until everything's okay. And then I'm going to let him know that I'm going to spend school time with him if I don't start hearing that things are better at school. And I will email all the teachers because been there. The little one for the 24 hours have all of a sudden 11 going on 30 and shut his mouth off a couple times. Well, this is kind of a hard story to tell, but we have, and I hate to use her name because they're private people, but M used to babysit for them when they were little. Well, M grew up, she was an honor student. She grew up, went to college, and became a teacher. Now she's a teacher there, and she's one of Aaden's teachers. So she's Miss H now. And her mom's also a teacher, but for Jessie. And so Aaden came home today and said that Mrs. H was writing an email to Jessie, though I don't know how she's going to email. He doesn't have an email address. Maybe they have a school one, I don't know. But because she was disappointed in him and the way he was talking. And I said, and Aaden's or Jessie's like, what are you talking about? And he explains it again, and I said, do you mean M? And he said, yeah. And I said, oh, so you told M, and she's gonna write him a note. And he said yes, because she wants him to know how disappointed she is that he spoke to you that way. And I said, well, that's very kind of her, thank you. So you know, that community, that village that raises the children is absolutely true. If I didn't have the village at school, I don't know how I'd get through this. And I know I've done a whole lot of talking today, trying to make up for a week's worth of not talking to you guys. But today's been quite a day. Tomorrow, we got a concert, and so tomorrow I have an appointment, and then I might be able to talk to you on my appointment. I don't know. Sometimes I talk to you on my way to the therapist, and then the boys have a doctor's appointment. I always hate that when all 3 of them go together because they try to show off for everybody, or for Jason, the nurse practitioner, and then there's a concert tomorrow night, so we're going to concert, and Aiden's lesson's going to be postponed till Friday. So sometimes I vlog on during his lesson, but I didn't last few times. But I really am gonna try to get in more. My energy level is just sapped out of me, and I'm doing my best. The fortunate thing, days are getting longer. That's gonna help. We came over last week and it was dark when we pulled in. It was not dark when we pulled in today. I'm sitting outside, I'm parked right in front of a stoplight, so that's why the lights keep changing. And it's green now, and so when it turns red, the shade changes a little bit. But I want to welcome the new subscribers. We got a few. Welcome. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click the red subscribe button. Hit the bell if you want to know when I upload videos, and so that you're notified. Sometimes we're finding out people aren't getting notified that hit the notification bell. And so do that, because I've been thinking about going live a few times, and I don't want to talk to myself if I go live. And I thought it might be easier to do a Q&A live than it would be to have people write them in, because I asked you to that one time and people left me questions all over the place, and I forgot what I was doing, so I answered the ones on YouTube in the comments area. And it wasn't until I started getting them on Facebook and stuff, and then it's like, duh, they were leaving the questions for the Q&A. So I thought maybe we'd do that live. It's a thought. So live life to the fullest, live life with no regrets, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.